Wow.
Our Blended Journey podcast. I am Tammy, Siry Horton, and I'm excited to share some of the things that we're going to be exploring. Some of the topics that we're going to talk about is perimenopause and menopause, as well as Project 2025 and how we are blending our cultures and our background in this beautiful blended journey of ours. Each week we'll dive into a multitude of different topics, of course, having different political ideologies and different religious ideologies. We'll be bringing our differences to the table and showing others how we live. This show is not about Troy or I, Tarris or I being experts in anything. We're allowing the public to come in and watch us as we navigate our journey because we don't know what the hell we're doing. So whether you're getting into a relationship, coming out of a relationship, exploring relationship, we hope that as you're learning and watching our journey, we hope that you gather knowledge to kind of mold into your own life. Please join us live on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. Our Blended Journey.
Well, hello, in episode 2 of our Blended Journey podcast. My name is Tarris Troy Horton. I'm with my wife. Hi, Tammy.
And I'm Tammy Siry Horton.
How you doing tonight, honey?
I'm doing good, sweetheart. How are you?
I feel good. I mean, we've got some good topics for this, our second episode. We got one episode down. How do you feel about the process so far? So I know it's all new to you. So when people are watching, this is all new. I've been doing this for a very, very long time, and this is all new to Tammy. So how are you getting acclimated?
It is very new to me to be live, right? And to be behind a camera feels very different. I think as we explore some harder topics, the more excited I get to share what we're learning about our journey together and bringing some really hard things to the table to talk about.
From the feedback that I've been getting, everybody loves it. Everybody loves you, of course. Also, we got our prize winner for the first week was Brian Harper. I sent Brian Harper from Elizabethtown the ladies box and a Kentucky mental health t-shirt, and he just loved it. And then we have our second winner. We just mailed out the box to Valerie King today. I mailed it out, and she got some watermelon salt shakers,
salt pepper shakers,
and a shirt. So we're sending out gifts every single week for people to participate. This week we have a great show for you lined up. We have 4 good topics, and I'll name the topics, and then what we're doing is Tammy's going to pick 2 topics, and I'm going to pick 2 topics. Tammy's picks for this week are. Do you want to tell me your 2 topics, and I'll tell them mine?
My topics are perimenopause and menopause, and as well as I think we're both talking about Project 2025.
Yes. And my topic is sports, and is not high school, but youth sports, travel sports, baseball, soccer, basketball. It's travel sports ruining the United States of America family fabric. Okay. Oh, and my second topic is I create a lot of content all the time, and we're going to talk about how in our blended journey, it's how Tammy navigates through that. I mean, it's a lot. I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, out of bed sometimes in the studio working on stuff, and I appreciate my wife for giving me the safe space. The safe space. I've never been safe to create in my entire life. I've never been safe to create, except for my childhood. With my parents and my sisters and my brothers, and they all understood my creativity, but I've never been able to create. But I appreciate you for giving me that space to create, sweetie. Amazing.
Always, honey. I want you to be as creative as you need to be. Even if I appreciate you listening to me and honoring my choices, even if we talk about something like the dolls that you bought, like please sage them before you bring them in the house.
Yeah. All my dolls are behind us. They're watching. My dolls are back here. Dirty Shack. They're back here. We're gonna try to stay on topic, and not topic, but time as well. So you'll see, and as you guys watch our programming, you guys are going to grow with us as we grow. We're going to be going live on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. for July, August, September, and then we're going to regroup, and then it's a 3-month series right here. So take advantage. Don't feel shy to leave a comment. Leave a comment in here. We'll answer your comment. We're going to go through a whole section where we talk about, because we're going to be talking about some things tonight. Like the first topic is, go ahead, honey. You go with it. And if you want me to pull up anything, I'll pull it up. Just give me a heads up, and I'll pull it up, and I'll go find it. And I'm gonna, if I stop you and I'm say, hey, I got some questions about this, because I'm a man. I don't know anything about perimenopause and menopause, but I'm telling you, fellas, let's listen to our wives.
And hon, I want to start off saying I appreciate that you are on this journey with me, and you do listen to me, and you do validate, even though your body doesn't experience the extreme things that women's bodies experience. And I really think this is an important topic. If we look at the average doctor in med school gets an hour on menopause or perimenopause, lumping them together. So perimenopause and menopause, perimenopause can start as early as 35. Menopause has the onset of 45 to 45 years old, depending on the situation. Women spend 40% of their lives in menopause. Yeah.
It's hard to fathom, 40% of your life is spent in menopause or perimenopause. I mean, fellas,
listen, right? And it's understanding what is happening to our bodies is crucial to the journey of perimenopause and menopause. And menopause just isn't the end of our cycle and we can't bear children anymore. Menopause really impacts the brain.
And what when you say when it impacts the brain, I know you showed me some diagrams, but
yeah,
when you say
when we're talking about the energy, the energy that the brain gives off, when women are in menopause, our energy in our brain goes down 30%.
Wow.
And here's a crazy statistic I found researching and reading about this. By the year 2030, 1 billion women worldwide will have entered menopause or entering menopause. There is no proper education. Culturally, we don't talk about it. It's one of the biggest reasons for divorce of women our age. We go to the doctor, we tell these symptoms, and they want to throw SSRIs on us. It's often not discussed within families. My family doesn't discuss it. We don't talk about it. Women are just expected to go through it, but there's so many body changes. I
pulled up something real quick, honey. I want you to look at this, and I pulled it up. It's a menopause, what menopause does to the brain. Remember when you were telling me about that?
Right.
I just pulled this up, and this is one side is a menopause brain, and one side is before menopause, and then the other side is after. And this is from the Wall Street Journal. Surprising good news of how this pre-menopause, post-menopause, early menopause, late menopause. Could you explain a little bit of that?
See the energy. So if we want to talk about brain energy on that first slide of the pre-menopause, look how much is lit up. And then as we hit perimenopause, look how much of that light, that energy starts going down. And then look at late menopause. I mean, we've lost a lot of the energy that our brain gives off or utilizes. Go ahead, honey.
I'm sorry. It says that the brain scans from a woman 40 to 65 years old, those glucose levels dipping during perimenopause and menopause, then stabilize and increases during some post-menopause. So it's like it goes through pre-menopause, perimenopause, early menopause, and late menopause. That's a lot.
Yeah. And it's one of the largest growing demographic groups is women in menopause.
Honey, you were telling me the other day about how research is done, and when people, like you said, you tell me some kind of statistic that there's only a few people who research perimenopause and menopause, and it's men? How does that make sense?
Men. This research is new for me, so as I go through researching this and bringing let's talk about what first. I guess we need to go back and talk about why are we talking about this, because it's not only my body going through it and affecting our lives, but I see women coming into my office in their late 30s, early 40s, great marriage, kids, and all of a sudden I want a divorce. And so what happens in menopause and perimenopause is our libido drops. And when our libido drops, our self-esteem drops, right? And so then we project that onto our partners, that it's them, not us. Because communication, when we don't feel good, our communication goes down. So we're not communicating with our partners what our body's experiencing. And a lot of times partners don't listen. I'm very fortunate that I have you. I come to you all the time like, oh my God, honey, my tailbone hurts. it's a symptom of menopause. Like I'm surprised at what my body is doing. But at the same time, I want us to get to a level of understanding so that women can be empowered for what our bodies are doing and get away from the shame and guilt of what we're experiencing. And one of the reasons it's one of the least researched topics is we're not in birthing years anymore. So no one cares.
You just said a whole lot right there, honey. You just said a whole lot. Especially when you break down the demographic of the people who are doing research and are providing the men, they don't care, like you said, once they get past birthing age, women, I never even thought about it like that. Dang, you just dropped a bomb.
Right. It's a lot. And some of the symptoms that we experience are hot flashes, night sweats, our hair changes. We have skin dryness, insomnia, fatigue. You know very well about the night sweats because I'm like, don't touch me. I'm burning up, right?
And if I, like if I wasn't able to listen to you and like, I would take offense to that, honestly. As a man, I'd be like, oh man, I can't even hold my wife at night. I want to, or she's hot. But I can sometimes feel the heat coming off of you.
It's awful, right? And then with all of these symptoms, our self-esteem changes. We gain weight. We have anxiety. We have depression. We have trouble remembering things. We can't concentrate. I think it was the last week, maybe, you came home and I said, do you smell that? And you're like, yeah, I smell that. Totally went upstairs and forgot I had eggs on the stove and burnt them black. I mean, it's hard. It's these things that we experience as women because our bodies are doing amazing things and changing. It's hard to articulate what we're going through. And it's got to be hard for you as well when I come to you and say, uh-oh.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with it next. What about, because I'm an understanding guy, but I'm a realistic man's man, right? So most of my men would be like, total bullshit. It's total bullshit, man. They're making this stuff up. The women are making it up in their head because they don't want to cook, clean. Women's responsibility. They'd rather just be by themselves. That's what some men would think, honey. I'm just being honest. That's what some men would think. They say, she's making this stuff up. How would you combat that?
Honey, that goes with a spouse that's not listening. We are not making this up. In fact, we feel like it is sometimes like such a onset of symptoms. You wake up one day and you're like, I feel crazy. I have, and I told you, I don't remember, last year or something. I'm like, I have everything I've ever wanted and needed in my life. Where, creating a family with you has been gorgeous and beautiful, but I feel like shit.
We have a comment from Kim Wilcox, who's a friend of mine. We went to high school together in Elizabethtown. Hi, Kim. Hope you're doing well. Great. Kim's awesome person. Her comment is, I had a vasectomy in 2018 and stopped all hormone replacement in 2020. The hot flashes and brain fog have been the worst. And stopped all hormone replacement. Can we talk about what you do? Like speak on that, honey. I don't know. Talk to Kim.
So, gosh, the medical field has been not very helpful during this situation. I had a hysterectomy when I was 40. I was fortunate enough to be able to keep my ovaries. So I didn't go into full-blown menopause right away. But when I saw my OBGYN, he birthed Bailey. She's 27 years old. And he just automatically wanted to give me estradiol. And I'm like, sir, I don't take prescription medications. And he's like, oh, Tammy, you'll be emailing me in the next couple of months. You will need to be taking these things. But they don't test our hormones. They just assume what our body's going through. They're not testing our estrogen, our testosterone, or anything like that. I was very fortunate. We're very fortunate that, some of my friends were going through the same thing and they started hormone replacement therapy. And so I was like, hey, hon, I'm going to go have my blood work done at zero gravity and see what happens. Because even the holistic doctor had said, well, you're making too much testosterone. So I have the medical field saying, you need estrogen. I have the holistic field saying, oh, well, you're making too much testosterone. No one's doing blood work. They're just assuming. And then I go get my blood work done at one of the zero gravity, one of the Botox skin places. I wasn't making testosterone. I was at 11. So that explained a lot of the brain fog and a lot of the hot flashes and a lot of the things I experienced. So my journey right now is getting testosterone replacement or testosterone pellets every 3
months. That answer Kim's question, because she was talking about like can you speak on, because we're getting close to the close of this subject. Can you speak on the hormone replacements and what it has done for you?
Oh my goodness.
The pellets.
Pellets. Yes, I do the testosterone pellets. So it does ease the brain fog. It helps tremendously with the anxiety and the depression that I was experiencing for absolutely no reason at all. And it helps with self-esteem. It helps with the weight gain that just comes on overnight. It helps with the irritability and the anger, all of these intense emotions that we experience. Now, for my journey, it doesn't so much help with the trouble remembering things or concentration, and the night sweats come and go. Sometimes I have good weeks and sometimes I have bad weeks, but I know that's a fluctuation of the pellets. For me, and I'm not recommending this to anyone else, for me, the testosterone pellets it helps with libido. I mean, let's talk about, do we have a minute to talk about the libido drop when
menopause, when talk about the libido drop, when
talk about what, honey?
When in the libido drop are you talking about? Like, are you talking about during menopause and perimenopause? You're talking the libido drop then?
The libido drop can start in perimenopause and of course go on into menopause. And that is one of the divorce rates are so high with women going through these things. And one of the things in my research that I want to add is, yes, Kim, yes, they're more natural. Absolutely.
And I can attest for my wife when she gets the pellet. I don't know if it's a psycho thing, but not psycho, but a psychological thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you get the pellets and you feel better. But I can notice a boost in your energy, a boost in all these things whenever you do get the pellets, and I can tell a decrease when your pellets are starting to run down. I can tell.
Absolutely. And one of the things I do want to add on, there's so much. I think we need to keep revisiting this topic.
Yeah.
No one's talking about it. And I think it's important from a man's standpoint that to share this space with me, to be able to say it's okay that men talk about this too, versus, oh, my wife is just giving up on everything. Well, let's talk about what our hormone levels are.
Well, you think the women don't talk about perimenopause and menopause? I'm telling you what the men are talking about. Men are saying it's bullcrap. Men are like, I know that. And most men, if you get down to the good men who want to listen to their wives and love their wives, who maybe this conversation, their wives can show them and say, hey, this is a subject that they talk about. Maybe they can start the conversation, but I'm just being open and honest with you and the viewers to say most men, the majority of the men, and you got to think about it. If women aren't talking about it, you think we're sitting there talking about women's menopause, especially whenever you brought up not a beautiful point, but a point about men quit caring because women quit when it's not a birthing issue. So if it's not a women's birthing issue, they don't care. So do you think that men are talking about it? Like, I know I'm talking about it because I love you and I want to stay married to you. And I want to understand this so we can live a happily life together. But what about the person who has been with their wife for all this time and don't understand, and then nobody's talking about it? That's why I love our podcast, our Blended Journey podcast.
There's so much shame and guilt around the subject for women because it's a different phase of life that's not celebrated at all. And so when our self-esteem drops, our libido drops, guess what we're not doing? We're not communicating. So it's not just the men not listening. There's nowhere for us to turn to go out there to understand what's going on with us, to be able to come to our husbands and say, hey, I'm experiencing these things. And I commend you. I love you so much. You've really done your education on how to support me in going through this. And one of the other interesting, I saw that there's some new research out that I'm really excited about, that we talked about the ACE score in one of our things, adverse childhood experience scale. So when we talk about trauma impacts the brain and changes the way that the brain is, right? And so there's new research out there that they studied several thousand women and their ACE score. 40% of the women who had a high ACE score had worse perimenopause and menopause symptoms, because menopause just isn't about our ovaries and our reproductive glands. It is about our brain and what our brain goes through.
That's great. Thank you for the information. And we're going to revisit, like she said, we're going to revisit this over and over. We're going to stay on. We're going to give each topic a certain time. Perimenopause and menopause. We're going to see you again. Switching gears to a topic. I don't want to jump into the Project 2025 just yet. I'm going to go into the how do I feel that sports are affecting families? Blended Journey podcast. Your Blended Journey didn't have you involved in sports and kids sports as I am. And a little bit about myself. I have my childhood injury wound is look up in the stands and not being able to see my parents up there, because it wasn't important to my parents back in the day to go to their kids' sporting events. It just wasn't. Work and church and all that other kind of stuff. Sporting was extracurricular, and so it's very important for me to get my kids' stuff. That being said, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's frustrating. It's extremely frustrating, especially let's just talk about AAU basketball. You got kids going to AAU basketball that are not very good, and their parents weren't athletes, so they see this in their kids and see a status thing, and then you're spending countless hours out in the gym somewhere watching other people's kids play basketball. You could be spending family time together, or on a baseball field, or on a soccer pitch. Is this, and if anybody's watching, you got a comment that, leave us a comment. And do you think that travel sports are affecting our American families in a way, yes or no? I would like to get your opinion, because you've seen me. I think that there's only been one point in my life, one part of our relationship, where you said, hey, I don't like this. And whenever I was going over and beyond for one of our kids, and you had to pull me out, like, hey, what are you doing? And it took me a while to listen, but then I listened. So if you don't mind expounding on that for me a little bit.
Wow, that's a loaded question. I think it was something I definitely had to get acclimated to, and I had to give space for, because as being newly married, that was a lot to take on with all the traveling. I want to support all of our kids and show up as much as possible for all of them. But there for a while, it was back to back, week after week after week after week. It's tamed down a little bit. And it, as a therapist, it also, we know that divorce rates are higher when kids graduate high school and go away to college, because parents are so involved in the sports, they lose part of who they are. And that was one of the things that I was afraid of, I guess, until I kind of opened up and gave space for that, because we just got married. What about me? What about you?
Yeah.
What about our relationship? And
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And in the same breath of that is, we support all of our children the best way that we can, and we set those healthy boundaries. And it's something that I think we'll continue to navigate till all these kids get through college, high school and college. And it makes me, the sports world is fascinating. Like when we went, I forget how many months ago. We have a basket one of Kaz's games, right? We went to, I forget where we traveled to, but whatever.
This is what the parents look like.
Well, no, they had tripods and had their cameras up on the tripod, standing in the bleachers. And I'm like, where is your life?
We got more rec basketball playing at the Pritchard Community Center in Elizabethtown, Kentucky than I've seen in any of these AAU ball games, except for except the league that the elite play in. I believe it's a status thing. I believe that it's a status thing for these kids, and it's cool, because I wouldn't want my kid not to experience it, but it's a lot. And when we first started dating, Cameron was a junior in high school, playing football every weekend. We drove down to Louisville and didn't miss one game. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot. It's a lot to get acclimated to. Sitting out there in the cold, watching my son play. Yeah. You stood. I mean, you hung in there, and then at the senior year in the track, and then you were there. I mean, it was nonstop. And then summer track, whenever Cameron was running summer track, and we had to travel to North Carolina, travel all over for him. But let's not get it twisted. The boy's got a full ride to college, and he's not having to pay for college. So
absolutely,
there's it takes to all of it. Jay said, "I love you guys. Love you too, Jay, man. Love you, Jay." He's got a full ride scholarship and he's doing very well. And I wouldn't trade it for the day in the world, but it is a lot. And I could see a family taking all their kids to do travel sports and doing all that kind of stuff, and then the kids not taking it nowhere. Where'd all that time go? Where'd all that money go? Where'd all that go to whenever you could be spending time with your family? That's where I'm at. People who are going to watch later, leave us a comment and we can revisit this too, because I love AAU. I love AAU soccer. I'm a sports human. I believe the kids that play sports stay out of courts, learn so many life skills in sports. It's a community. I grew up in the Elizabethtown community at EBAC. Some of my best friends that I've ever known, we played crawdads and stuff like that growing up in sports. Anyways, it's gotten too far. It's gone too far, and we need to get it in checks and balances on that, because as a nation, I believe that families are important, no matter how you look at it, whether it's two families are important, no matter if you're whatever it looks like, family's important. So
and I want to give great kudos and thanks and love for you, because that was that was a lot. The traveling was a lot, and you were able to make space for you and I during that too.
And because you're the most important thing to me in my life. Like I love my kids to death. I love them all. But when we got married, I made a decision. I told them, my wife comes first. That's it.
And my husband comes first.
So, we talked about the perimenopause, menopause, and then we moved on to our sports ruining or affecting how our sports affecting our family. And we're halfway already through. Look at that. How you feel halfway through our second episode of our Millennial Journey podcast?
It feels really good. It feels really good to talk about important things. Honey, I kind of like it better than redoing our videos. Vacation videos. I'm like, who wants to rewatch while we narrate our vacation videos?
Yeah, right. You'd be surprised. It's not about Kim Wilcox says so many times the parents take away more serious than the kids. Unfortunately, travel is expensive, and I feel like there are a lot less fortunate kids who not have the opportunity to get behind. They have a lot. Kim,
that's so true. Absolutely.
I told my son asked that the other day. I said, it's not just your talent. You've got two parents, and I got to give a shout out to Cass's mom, Amy, for being a supportive mom and not ever keeping me or Tammy away from anything. We're all included. Amy is included in our blended journey, and couldn't be happier for the Cass wins. But I was telling Cass, I was like, it's not just that you are a talented basketball player, is you have parents that care. I can go down to E-Town right now and find 10 people that could kick his butt in basketball or anything else or faster. It's just that they have the support system, and that's hard and it's expensive. The other game, I had $500 riding on some kid's free throw. Not $500 bet, but if this dude would have missed the free throw, they would have lost, and we would have had to spend the night in a city to play another game at 9 o'clock in the morning. But he hit the free throws and they won, so we got to go home. No other kid should make another man have to spend money. Mm-hmm. That's where travel sports has gone way too far. Okay, we're going to switch gears one more time, and we're going to talk about a hot button subject that everybody's talking about is Project 2025. And what have you heard about Project 2025, honey?
Well, a subject I brought to you yesterday was one of the things in Project 2025 is giving interracial marriage back to the states to decide, or giving the decision to the states to decide whether or not they want to allow interracial marriage. I've heard a lot about it from my clients because we are getting into that time of the year. I mean, the last time we had an election, we were all in lockdown with the pandemic, and clients really, people really struggle with what's going on in the world. And now we have Project 2025, and people are worried about, who gets in. Are we going to have another insurrection? It's a lot to take on. It's a lot to think about.
Well, and as you guys know who watch our programming, I'm conservative and my wife is liberal. I don't even want to call it. She's a registered Democrat. I'm a registered Republican. Simple as that. I look at Project 2025 different. I am a states' rights guy. I believe that the state should handle everything. I don't believe the federal government should get involved unless the federal government is requested. The state can't figure it out. Then you go to bed. I don't think the Fed should come down to the state level unless they're asked. But Project 2025, from my research, horrible.
What part don't you like about it? Like, why is it horrible to you?
Because it gives white men power over everybody. What makes them think that they are that they deserve that? I don't understand. And also Project 2025, don't get it twisted. I always called out the left, and I always will call out the left. I'm not specifically talking about my wife, but I will call out the left for the fear mongering, because I'm sitting here as a conservative saying, we don't believe. I know a lot of Republicans. There's probably 8 to 10% of the Republican Party, of the 100% Republican Party, who even given this Project 2025 any kind. We looked at it, we were like, this is worse than Black Lives Matter, and we threw it. That's how we did. But then the Democratic side is saying, oh, we need to be scared of Project 2025. We need to be scared of this, and fear mongering and getting people scared because of the voting. And I believe it's a distraction to keep the attention off of Joe Biden. But to answer your question, I don't like it because it gives way too much control to crusty old white men. They want to control, and it's all, and we've talked about this off camera all the time. It's all about the birth rate. When the white people are not producing fast enough to keep up with any other race. I mean, I think the white race is producing at a 2.5%, and it's impossible, scientifically impossible to catch up. And I explained, like, my analogy on it the other day with you, as I was like, remember in the Bible when Pharaoh did everything he could. He was killing the firstborn. He's like, I don't want, because he knew that the pendulum was switching and it was time for a regime change. And that's what the white men are hanging on to. And I believe that it's a new Jim Crow, that Project 2025 is nothing more than a new Jim Crow. It'll never get passed. And Trump denounced it. I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not a Biden fan, but Trump did denounce it. I will speak the truth. So if someone's like, oh, Trump said that he's going to do Project 2025. Trump said he don't want nothing to do with it. But on the Democratic side of it,
they're going to utilize it to scare everyone.
But as they should, because what did the administration with Trump do? They overturned Roe versus Wade.
Absolutely. And why did they overturn Roe versus Wade, right?
So they can keep white babies coming.
And then we have white men telling us what to do with menopause.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And then the white men want to tell us to do it about interracial relationship. It's just never going to work. It's never. And I don't think that Trump's even going to go for it. So 2025 to me is a big nothing burger. It's a big talking point. It's a big scare tactic. But you have every right.
That's where I disagree.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I disagree with you. You disagree on my stances. I disagree on some of your stances. I disagree with you. Like, for me, it comes off like nonchalantly, this isn't going to happen. Nothing's ever going to be passed. This is just a scare tactic. Roe versus Wade. We didn't think that would ever be overturned. We did not think that we would live in a society where women have to carry their baby who passed 20, 25 weeks, where women are getting sent home and saying, when you can't stand the smell of yourself, then come back to the hospital, because legally we can't do anything. It's disgusting what Roe versus Wade has put women through. So when you say, I think we had this discussion prior to the boys coming for dinner tonight, when you say, oh, we never thought in a million years Roe versus Wade would ever be overturned.
That's fair. That's a fair assumption. I can say that.
Why wouldn't we be scared? Why wouldn't we be scared? I mean, come on.
To answer the question in a very blunt way, because I don't think the Democrats are listening. I don't think the Democrats are listening. You guys didn't think that Roe versus Wade was going to be overturned, but that's exactly what the Republicans said, and they said they were going to be fighting to do for 50 years. But y'all weren't listening because that's just my opinion. They're like, oh, that'll never get done or never get done. And in the meanwhile, McConnell is positioning himself to get the Supreme Court justices in line to get Roe versus Wade overturned, and Barack Obama fell for it when he said you shouldn't appoint a Supreme Court justice on your way out. Barack said, you know what, Mitch? Probably right. And then when Mitch gets Trump in there, that's the first thing he did is prefer over. So it's shady on both sides. That's just politics. But the fear mongering, and I'll say this, and we can move on past Project 2025. But I think I'm just so glad and so happy that they have not murdered a black man on camera and put it in our face. That's and at this point, I don't know what the Democrats are going to try to do to win this election, but I don't think Joe Biden is going to be the candidate. I think they're going to do something during the DNC to switch up to make this race something different than what it is, what it should be. Just a fair, straight race. I really don't think that even with Joe Biden being, as much as you know how much I do not like Joe Biden. I mean, I think he's the most disgusting. How people think about Trump is the way I think about Joe Biden. And I have every reason to think though if somebody would sit down and talk to me about it. But no, like, but Joe Biden is still going to win.
Hun, I forgot to tell you something today. Do you know? This was a new one, so if you heard it. Did you know that it's been reported that Michelle Obama is transgender?
That's white boys. That's your stats. I've heard it all the time. Do you know where I hear that from? You hear that from? Dusty old white boys.
I know.
They're just disgusting. Some of these dudes, some of these racist dudes, I'm so disappointed in them because we went to school together. We went to high school together. I'm not talking about anybody specifically. I'm generalizing as a black man in the United States of America. Our fathers fought in the Vietnam War together, fellas. Men, white men, our fathers fought in the war for this country together just for you to do the same thing that their fathers did. When you're like, oh, what do you mean you're not racist? Yes, you are when it comes to that, getting that job and that loan and all that kind of stuff, and you pass us over. That's just covert racism. And that's what I don't understand about some racist white men. You guys are hurting the Republican Party. Racism is killing the Republican Party. I'll just say that over and over. But we can that's Project 2025. And you're watching our Blended Dirty podcast. We could go on and on and on about, like, I get all emotional about politics, like you get emotional about perimenopause and mental health. Mental health. And, but I think it all boils in together. It all boils in together, in my opinion. We all, these conversations need to be had by two people who have different political ideologies. And look at this. Not one name called. I'm still going to sleep next to you tonight, even though I know that you're going to vote for Joe Biden.
And I'm not sure who you're voting for. So, but
I'm voting for Donald Trump. I'm voting for Trump. I am not endorsing.
But however, we have talked about this in the past that other than you running for Dayton, we are not going to have political signs right or left in our yard.
Yeah, only signs we're going to have in our yard is Horton for Dayton City Council.
Absolutely. And maybe school board for me next year. We don't know. We'll explore it.
My name is Tarris Horton from our Blended Journey podcast. I'm running for Dayton City Council. So make sure in October and November, when you see me out there campaigning, root for me. Yay! Honey, I create a lot of content. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with all this? Jay said it best. Jay said, how do you deal with all this characterism? How do you deal? Like behind me is my dogs. that I make talk. I'll go get it. If you don't mind, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with this?
Okay, let me ask the reverse question. Why wouldn't I deal with it? This is your creative outlet. Why would I take that away from you? Why would I? I mean,
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. I totally agree.
you're always making me laugh. You're always making me laugh. And the dolls don't go anywhere else in the house except for your creative room. And so, except that one looks like Unknown Hinton, so that brought back some memories there. But
that's why his name is Unknown Handsome.
But I think you're very respectful. And again, I think it goes back to when you were talking about the sports as well. Like I hardly ever have to say, hey, I'm over here. Like you are very good at managing your time and making sure that you create space for our relationships. So why would I have such a difficult? Now, some of your content does make me cringe, not going to lie. And then sometimes I have to take a break from watching it. Remember when we first started dating? And I think when we first got married, Bailey was like, Mom, do you know
what he Bring Me a Plate? Was it Bring Me a Plate when I had them girls bring me a plate? I'm like, it's not real.
Or even recently on something, you said the word coochie, and she's like, Mom, I don't want him on TV, on anything live talking about your coochie. And I was like,
right. It's, I mean, but that's one thing that we set healthy boundaries in the beginning. I told you, I was like, look, I was newly sober. Not newly sober. I was sober for years, and I'd done the self-help that I needed to get. And I was like, look, I know through my journey, creativity helps me, my mental health. And you're like, you'll never stop it. And even the beginning, when I first started creating at the Sheridan house, I was really cautious. I was like, am I too loud? Am I too loud? Because I was so programmed, and I survived people telling me not to do it. That was stupid. Your creativity is stupid. You're never going to make it. You're doing it for nothing. You're wasting your time. I mean, it's just the verbal. I was walking on eggshells when I wanted to make sure that, because it will be a deal breaker, like that would be a deal breaker if I worked so hard to get to the courage to say, hey, this creativity is a part of me. Can't one person in this life say they've known me not creating? No, nobody. My parents are the only two people, and they passed away.
Well, honey, I'd rather you be upstairs creating than sitting in a bar.
Absolutely.
You're home. You're upstairs creating. If you get up at 4 a.m. and you're creating, and we have a plan to go to Findlay Market at 10, you've never said, "Oh, I stayed up all night creating. We're not going." You've never let it get in the way of our plans or our relationship. It's a balance. You give me space to bake and do the things that I like to do, and you gave me the space to go to school, back to school again. That took a lot of time, And you support my ongoing education. You went to Staples for me today and picked up some things for a new class I'm starting. I mean, we support each other. This is what a relationship is. But I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I do cringe. And you created this space to sage the dolls before you brought them in the house. So,
awesome. I love my dolls. So we got through all that in 45 minutes. How do you feel tonight?
I feel accomplished. I liked it. I like that we're not narrating our travel videos, and that we're really diving in deep in some difficult topics.
Yeah, and I think that the more that we do this, the more subjects that we'll dive into that are deep and will touch a lot of different people. And we're open for different comments and different. As I say, leave us a comment or let us know what you like. What did I say?
Hey, babe, I have an idea.
Okay.
This is a good one because you brought it up the other day and you said, I wish I wouldn't have said anything because I don't want to get your hopes up. Getting a puppy and seeing how we navigate that together.
Look at that face, guys. I'm like, no.
You actually saw it. We still have Tommy, and he's wonderful and beautiful. And
Tommy's a good dog. But I'm ready for another dog fight yet. What's that?
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm not really looking forward to having another animal like that. We got 2 dogs. We got 1 dog, 2 cats, and a bird named Rachel.
And a
our
squirrel
blended
named
journey.
Henry.
And the lizards out in the front yard.
The squirrel house.
Man, we gotta get rid of that squirrel house somehow, some way. So, is there anything that you want to go back and discuss before we end the show? I mean, I think that we did a pretty good job. I mean, as you go back, we got like 15 more minutes of do you want to go back and finish talking about perimenopause and menopause? Is there anything that you want to, like, any questions? Or
do you have any questions of the things I talked about menopause? I think
I just want to listen to this. Sorry, I just want to listen because men, we don't talk about it. I know that I keep reiterating that over and over again. Men don't talk about it, and when we do talk about it, the majority of men is crap. Women make stuff up.
I mean, it's I think going on this journey and really listening to my clients who are experiencing these things has really inspired me too, because I've always wanted to do group. I haven't done any groups in the private practice yet. And I really, really want to. So I'm going to start a group in October. I'm going to get a group of 10 to 12 women for a 12-week, holding that safe space to talk about what they're experiencing. And, everyone sees different doctors and different vitamins and reads different things. And I really want to get a group of women together and start a support group. So, this doesn't have to be a death sentence. This doesn't have to be so much shame and guilt, like being really empowered for what our bodies are meant to do.
Yeah, so when do you plan on starting the support group? Around October?
October. And I'm looking into what, honey?
Will it be an in-person group or would it be online or how?
No, it would be absolutely in person. And I'm looking into a Wednesday or Thursday evening, starting about 6:30, 7 o'clock. And the group will run for an hour and a half. And I've already started reaching out to some wonderful friends that really help with hormone replacement therapy, asking if they would come join one of the sessions to kind of give a talk on their expertise. Because I'm not a nurse practitioner. I'm a therapist. I don't have the medical background. And I really want to hold that space. I even thought when I was, because these women don't have to be my clients by no means, but some of my clients I've had for a long time, I kind of ran the idea around to them today, and even came up with doing this 12-week session for women. It'll end, I haven't done the math yet, but it end in December, and then doing like a regroup in, I don't know, March, April, May. We're getting the same group of women together just to kind of talk about where they are, just kind of like a little group reunion, creating that support system. I'm hoping that through this group, women will get that support and make friends through that group and really empower each other. And, I hear about different vitamins every day my clients are taking, or their doctor told them this, or their doctor told them that. I think getting a group together and really empowering this journey is important.
I like that. And then potentially, I'm just putting this out there in the manifestation world. We can take a group to Puerto Rico. We can have a retreat.
I really think in this manifestation world that, Mr. Horton, you need to start thinking about starting a support group for men.
Yeah, I agree. I would like men.
You have the experience. You are really supporting me through this journey, and you really do hear me, and I love you every second of every day for that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, and fellas, man, if you're like me and you want to make sure that your family stays together, because that's our goal in life, is to be good to each other and to make sure that we stay together. I mean, till death do us part is what we agree on.
Absolutely.
And so, man, if you feel that way, because I don't want, and we've talked about this before, me and my wife have talked about this. I have my friend group, when I look at the people who I talk to on a daily or weekly basis on the phone or in person or anything like that, who I consider really close to me, they're all married. Brother, they're all married. Adam, Paige, all of my friends who I call on the phone, married. Because if I call one of my single friends, And I'm like, I'm like, man, my wife, she's talking about some menopause or perimenopause. They'll be like, F that, let's go find some booty. Just saying, that's what my single friends would say. My married friends, we all build into each other, and we're like, you're never going to find anybody like this before. I've never seen you this happy before. This is the conversation that me and my friends have with each other. So I'm just saying that. So when you talk about a men's group, I was going to be a part of a men's group. It would be a men's group who checked all the boxes, who had the same goals as me. I want to stay married. We got an arm number where we want to retire and do things. These are things that I don't want to surround myself or put myself in a group of people who are not on the same pages as me. So that being said, like, I would love to start a group, but I have a zero tolerance policy for bullshit, because one dude, one bad apple can ruin it. And like, I don't have time for that, man. I just don't have no time for that.
Just putting it out there, Mr. Horton.
I appreciate that. Oh, honey, today Swiggles was in. Swiggles came into the workshop today. Did you see him?
I heard him.
Yeah, we were in there. We were talking, and then it hit me. I'm 6 years sober in a week, in 6 days.
How does that feel, sweetie?
A lot of anxiety. Because right after Swiggles, another friend of mine, and I'm okay to say this because I talk to him all the time. His name's Paul Miller, and he's sober as well. So having my best friend, one of my closest friends, I can say my best friend, my closest the dude I used to drink at the bar with every single night. We used to go in, and people come from miles and miles to watch us argue over sports. We were good. Me and Swigs, I wish he would come podcast with me. We'd do good. But I seen him, and I felt good for him and me both, because we're both alive. We're both here. But it made me realize, man, it's been 6 years since I've put alcohol in my body, and gosh, man, I can't believe. I can't even believe it. I can't believe it's been 6 years. I can't believe that it's been 6 years. I can't believe I was able to spend 3 beautiful, sober, alcohol-free years with you. Because I have no doubt in my mind, if I was still drinking, we wouldn't be together.
No.
We wouldn't be together. Because I know I couldn't handle it. I can't handle that kind of stuff. No, I can't handle it. So yeah, that was on my mind today. I was like, I can't believe it's been. I can't believe it's been 6 years over for myself, and pretty excited about that. And I'm excited about 60 more years with you. Kim has another message. Kim says, "You guys are great. Keep doing what you're doing." Thanks, Kim.
Kim,
Appreciate
thank you for watching.
I think we know who's going to get the prize this week.
I get to pick it this time.
Oh yeah, but when we're our gifts that we're sending are nice. We're sending nice gifts, and we're picking out somebody new every single week to pick a gift and send a gift to. The first week was Brian Harper from Elizabethtown. The second week, Valerie King from Elizabethtown. And third week looks like it's Jim Wilcox from Elizabethtown. Elizabethtown is in the big town.
The Valerie got sweatshirts and a t-shirt too, didn't she?
Yeah, she got
Our Mental Health Matters.
Mental Health Matters t-shirt and a I Am Enough sweatshirt. And I sent her some watermelon salt and pepper shakers because she wants this.
Your stapler bag? You keep your tools in that bag, or you did.
But watermelon collectors, us watermelon stuff collectors, we want everything watermelon. She don't want this. It's got all my tools and stuff in it. But Valerie, you can't have my bag. I love you a lot. I love you like a sister, but can't have my bag. So, all right, this has been a great time. Is there anything in closing you want to say? Or anything you want to, any announcements you want to make?
Announcements. I'm thinking where my mind goes, mental health and Northern Kentucky Counseling Association and KCA's up here this year. So that's going to be exciting. And hun, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for this and encouraging this and coming out of my shell a little bit more every week. Poor Jay and Jason, I was quiet as a mouse when we did that podcast with them.
Jay and Andrew were over there with Jay and Andrew.
Yes.
So, but we'll go back and we'll look at these episodes 1 and 2 and 3, and we'll get it to episode 100, and we'll look back at all of it, and then it's all a learning curve. I have some announcements. I'm DJing's picking back up, baby, and I'll be DJing. Calendar. And if you ever need a DJ, just hit me up. I'm very reasonable. I'm reasonable. I'm good. I'll give you referrals if you ever need them. So this Friday I'll be at Villa Hills at Stu Johnson's house. Next Saturday, okay, yeah, here it is. This Friday, coming the 12th, I'll be in Villa Hills at Villa Hills. Next Thursday, the 18th, Andrew Eisler. He's having behind the scenes at the Madison Theater, and I'm playing a set at the Madison Theater on Thursday. Friday, I'll be down in Dayton, Kentucky, down at the B&B Riverboats down here. I'm playing at the B&B Riverboats. And then Saturday, I'll be at Cold Springs with Not Johnny. I'll be opening up for Not Johnny on Cold Springs. Huh?
July 20th?
Yeah, July 20th, we'll be in Cold Springs. I think I start playing at 4:30 or 5. And Not Johnny goes on at like 6:30 or 7. That's what 7 cents. So I'll be there setting up, and I'll be having some music playing and stuff like that for a little bit. And then the following week, I will be in Indian Hill. Yeah, I'll be in Indian Hill. Yeah, so if anybody ever needs a DJ or anything like that, you can hit me up. I'm a very good DJ. We'll work with any kind of budget or anything like that. Oh, another announcement. If you need an event space, Horton Social Corner is available for event space. You're going to be able to find us on Peer Space here soon. I just signed us up for Peer Space. So if you have a event that you need, wedding, birthday party, retirement party, we specialize in events for 30 people or less. And we got sound system, we got an in-house DJ, food, catering. We can do whatever you need to at Horton Social Corner. Those are my announcements for. Yeah, so
come out to what is the park in Cold Springs? Cold Springs Community Park? Is that what it is?
Sure, I think so. But I'll post everything. Let me see if I can. If you give me 1 second, let me see if I can find the Not Johnny flyer, and then we can.
They are amazing.
Yeah, they kicked butt when they were in.
Yeah.
When they were in, they kicked butt, man. I saw one of the people who were up there singing, or they up there and they were singing every word of Not Johnny songs, the songs that Not Johnny were playing. And
they're amazing. And of course, Carol's one of my best friends, so I'm always going to give a shout out to them. I love them. And that's something too, like for a further topic, is talking about how friendships change as we get older and our lives change, right?
Got it right here. Not Johnny. City of Cold Springs, Kentucky. All right, City of Cold Springs, Kentucky, July 20th, 7 to 9:30. I'll be there before. I think I'll be there about 4:30. Mm-hmm. I'll be there at 4:30, and then Not Johnny goes on at 7, and then I'll play in between. I think, but we're figuring all that out. But the Sunday the 20th, Not Johnny and DJ Fanny Pack. Don't forget your Fanny Pack is going to be live in effect. Well, look what we done. We're 30 seconds to an hour. That's how efficient we are. It's awesome.
We did it, babe. We did it.
We did it. Episode number 2 in the books. And I appreciate everybody for the likes, the comments, shares, the things that you see on our Journey podcast. We'll be going live on Wednesday nights. Leave us a comment. Let us know that you are watching our program. My name is Tarris Horton.
And I'm Tammy Horton. Thank you for joining our podcast.